Okay, I hope you guys are ready for this. This is going to be a video chock full of value, something that we've been holding back on for a while now, just due to us being so busy as a team. But Luna Digital definitely owes this to you to get this video out there on how we have helped the brand scale from 15 million in annual turnover to about 32 million rand in annual turnover. This brand started working with us just prior to the first lockdown in 2020. And these are the figures that you'll see from that year, essentially. So I'm going to be going through the lessons learned from scaling this brand from 15 to 32, giving them a 100% year-on-year growth. And hopefully this will give you the right perspective as a business owner heading into business and or wanting to hopefully scale to these sort of levels. Okay, and depending upon your product's margins and your own profit margins, your targets and CPAs and all these sort of things, bear with me while I go through the first couple of things. So the first thing that I want to jump into is tackling the biggest bottleneck within your business. And I'm going to be very honest with you, and this is something that we've really seen be the catalyst for brands that can grow at this rapid rate and at this scale. And that's you. You as the business owner is the biggest bottleneck within your own business. I, Nanga, my partner as well, we are the biggest bottlenecks within our business because we would limit ourselves based upon our own mindset and the way we view our business and the way we view it operating and growing in some way or some fashion. And that's typically going to be your biggest issue. And it was actually wonderful to see the actual transition for this business owner that knew where the potential was, but just didn't have the technical skills to really take advantage of it and squeeze as much from what we're going to be talking about, which would be the Facebook, Google, and email marketing for this brand. Okay, so you gotta remain cognizant of the fact that you are the biggest bottleneck within your business, and you need to grow into the person that is going to be handling and managing and operating a business that is doing these figures on a year-to-year basis. And that person that's doing this, that's managing this business at that level, is different than the person that was managing and handling the business that was half this size. Because you have half the problems, you have half the orders, you have potentially half the staff, you have half of the resources required to make this happen. So there's a lot of different challenges that you'd face. I mean, if you start scaling to this level, you typically run into supplier problems. I mean, if you're sending 150 to 300 orders out on a day-to-day basis, you need to make sure that your supplier can handle it, and you also need to make sure that if you're holding stock, you need to prepare for these spikes in growth, which is going to be something we're going to talk about right now. So number one is embracing the fact that you are the biggest bottleneck in your own business, and really looking within yourself and seeing what do you need to change in terms of how you perceive your business to get it to the next echelon or to the next level, right? And then secondly, to achieve growth at this rate as quickly as they did, you need to embrace lower profit margins at first, which would also be a lower ROAS at that point. For this brand specifically, we maintained a 5 to 8x return on ad spend religiously, month on month, very, very consistently. If we jump over to their Shopify store, you can see this is actual real figures. It's from Jan 1 to December 31. Last year, 2020, this was the consistent growth that we helped them achieve. So right about there, that's when we started working with them, and they started seeing a incremental, consistent increase in online sales. And then Q4 was just a different beast on its own. It was a different world, and we'll be getting to that in a moment. So we were spending about 20K a day for this brand. that would be within Facebook, within Google from an ad perspective. We scaled up and we scaled down ads as we saw purchasing behavior really change, and also just stock levels that we had to make sure that we aren't diminishing that at a rapid rate for them to be able to maintain cash flow and then repurchase then the next batch of orders essentially. So embracing low profit margins at first is very key and very critical if you're going to be planning on spending that amount of money on your paid ads, right? Some specific brands would get outside investors, which would be essentially a loan to that brand, and then they'd pay that back on a month-to-month basis as they make it back through their revenue, right? So that's how you'd be able to spend this type of money at this scale from an ad spend side of things. And that really leads into, how does the growth look? The growth is not essentially linear. It really isn't. We believe in the 4 peaks of advertising, which is essentially, if I could draw it here, I don't even know if there's something like a drawing tool in here, but you'd have spikes in growth, and then you'd add valleys as well. So this is where you'd get a breakthrough, and then you sort of plateau and it slowly decline. And through that slow decline, that's when you start downscaling and then looking for your next breakthrough, and then you'd get that spike up again. And then the same story happens. You'd have some slow decline where we'd scale down, making sure we maintain at least a break-even ROAS for you, and then you'd scale back up. So these guys did make money. They ended up anywhere between 10 and 11% net profit for that year, and that was sufficient for them. We made most of it back in Q4 with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and some Christmas sales that we had going, which was phenomenal. If we go back to Shopify over here, you can see it was absolute madness when we got to November. It was a huge day, almost 2 million in one day. And then that was also due to us scaling the budget extremely aggressively. So let's recap quickly. Biggest bottleneck is you in the business. You really need to have a look at how you perceive your business and how you can grow your business. And being and embracing lower profit margins at first, a lower ROAS, so that you can get these orders in and acquire customers at a much faster and much quicker rate than your competitors, so that you're sort of perceived as the biggest and the best within your field, outbidding them in every corner, within every street corner of the advertising world, from a Google and from a Facebook platform perspective. And knowing that growth isn't linear, you can achieve incremental linear growth, but you won't be able to achieve this scale within this short amount of time, if that's what you want to do, which we really respect. I mean, we work with a lot of brands that don't want to be doing this. They don't want to be doing this within a year, because it puts so much stress and so much strain on the business and breaks so many small little procedures and standard operating systems within the business for them to grow and create new ones. That's it's quite wild, and you need a lot of resources in terms of people to help you achieve revenue levels at that level. Then secondly, from an ad side of things, hypertesting and hyperscaling. What we did is we took the account, and within the account we did a full account audit and analysis internally here at LD. We had a look at, how does the Facebook funnel look, how does the Google funnel look, and what products are we selling? Because this brand sells quite a bit of products, but all of them on brand at least. And they had certain flagship products that made up most of the revenue for their online store, and was producing a healthy amount of profit. So that's what we focused on. We focused on the cash cow products, and then some supplemental and complementary products around them. And then we created creatives around that. Specific deals and incentives that we put in front of people on a top of funnel perspective, and really got extremely granular within the remarketing and retargeting side, putting incentives in front of people that essentially make sense based upon how far they've gone through the customer journey. So somebody that's added a product to cart would see a different ad as opposed to somebody that just liked the ad and went to go and follow the page, because the commitment is different. So your communication style has to adapt to that in order for you to take them through that buying process, and making it, really a pleasurable experience, as opposed to having a very aggressive approach. Now we did have an extremely aggressive approach from a top of funnel campaign side of things. We ran multiple campaigns, I would say scaling into the hundreds of campaigns across the year, trying to find what works specifically. And we hit a golden vein, and that would be that spike in rev, or that breakthrough that we mentioned earlier about speaking about growth is not linear. So that's a prime example. We found 1 or 2 top of funnel campaigns that were advertising 2 or 3 products, and we doubled down on that, and we launched some scaling tactics from a Facebook ad perspective, and we also went and amended our Google ad campaigns from a shopping side to really build out a full funnel approach, right? So that was the hyper testing phase. Through the hundreds of campaigns we tested, we found about 2 from the top of funnel side that really did some damage for the brand. And then we started to hyper scale them. We started creating cost cap campaigns, running campaigns with a campaign budget optimization as opposed to the ad set side. From a CBO point of view, we had cost caps on our retargeting campaigns and on our top of funnel campaigns, which helped a lot. And then I think really a big catalyst to this specific brand's success is building an omnipresent system for the brand. Now, that would just fully encompass every marketing channel that you could use, which would be effective. So we didn't really go into more experimental platforms like TikTok or Pinterest or those sort of early ad products. We mostly stick to Facebook and Instagram, Google and YouTube, and Google Ad Partner Networks, and then we heavily focused on email. Now guys, if you have an e-commerce brand and you do not have email automations set up that are vastly superior to your competitors, you will lose out on a lot of revenue. And I'll tell you, if we didn't have the email automations set up in the back end, we would not have ended up at a 10-11% net profit margin at the end of the year. We would not have had that. So that's very key, very critical. Build out your emails. If you use Klaviyo, whether you use Omnisend, go and do a short course, or get in touch with us if you really want to, and we'll help you build that out. So again, just jumping back to the brand, awesome brand really, that we worked with last year and still continue to work with. Really a catalyst for them was realizing that they were their biggest bottleneck. They were holding themselves back. And when we showed them what was possible through essentially doubling their ad spend, the cost factor wasn't even a conversation anymore. Because if we could say we'll spend 100 grand and make you $1 million, then it makes sense. It really does. Now, I'm really oversimplifying it, but I want you to grasp the fundamentals of what you need to really nail down in order for you to get yourself ready to scale to this level. So if that's something that you want to do, please do get in touch if you need a little bit more information of how to actually achieve that. We'd be more than happy to help you guys out, but that's really not for everyone, and we'll be honest with it. We do work with a lot of medium-sized e-commerce brands as well, so that are bootstrapping, that are entrepreneurs, that don't always have the funds to invest so heavily into this brand, that have bills to pay and mouths to feed, which make it tough. But if you are in the position to want to scale at this point, I will definitely vouch and advocate for building an omnipresent e-commerce system and aggressively testing as many ads and angles as possible and focusing on your cash cow products, putting them in front of an audience that's hungry for those products as opposed to praying and spraying. And it was funny enough, really, in some cases, advertising these products to their typical audience, we reached a cap. And then we had to, because we were only advertising locally, we had to move into different audiences. And we found the weirdest and wonderful interests from an interest targeting side that really dominated from a top of funnel campaign, which we would have never thought would have been the actual, let's say, on-brand keyword or on-brand interests. So really testing everything that's out there that you think would garner some success is really going to help you guys out. And also just don't be afraid to test. don't be afraid to invest into your business. If that's something that you are slightly afraid of, get in touch with us. We'll help you out. We'll build out something that makes sense. We'll be very upfront with you in terms of how that might look and what you might go through and what you could expect. And we'll take it from there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Some behind the scenes of some of the brand partners that we have at LD, and typically what we want to achieve for brands that we work with is we want to achieve scale at the highest level. We want to work with brands that want to be part of the elite few within their industry that are going to obliterate their competition and crush them into fine powder. That's where we want to be. So hope this helps. Please reach out if you have any questions. Add some comments in there. I'll get back to you in the comments section below. And share this with. I ask that you share this with the people that might need it. Friends, family that are starting up, people that you might know, people that are sort of stuck in a rut or plateauing within their business. We'll sit down with them and we'll have a chat. I'll pop in a link down below as well if that's where you want to have direct access to our team. You can plug us there, and we'll see if we can help you. But very valuable stuff. Again, it was really exciting working with these guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.